Far out at sea, the water is as blue as the petals of the loveliest cornflower. It is also as clear as the purest glass you can imagine. It is very deep, deeper than any cable can reach, and many church steeples would not touch the top. In the deepest spot of all lies the palace of the Sea King. Its walls are made of coral, and the high-pointed windows are of the clearest amber. The roof is formed of mussel shells that open and close as the water flows over them. Each shell contains a glittering pearl of great price and rare beauty. One of these pearls would be a find for any queen in the world above. The Sea King had been a widower for many years, so his mother kept his house. The old Queen Mother was very wise and proud of her noble birth. She had 6 beautiful granddaughters, who were all lovely sea princesses. The youngest was the prettiest of them all, with skin as soft as a rose leaf and eyes of blue. She had no feet, for her body ended in a long fish-tail. All day long, the sisters played in the great halls of the coral palace. Tall sea flowers grew out of the walls, and colorful fish swam through the open amber windows. In the garden, each princess had her own little plot of sand. They planted bright sea flowers that glowed like the sun in the deep water. The youngest princess made her garden circular, like the sun, and planted only flowers that were deep red. She was a quiet and thoughtful child who loved to hear stories. Her grandmother told her many tales about the world of humans above the sea. She spoke of the green trees, the smelling flowers, and the birds that sang in the sky. When you are 15, the grandmother said, you may rise up to the surface. You may sit on the rocks and watch the large ships sail by. You will see the forests and the towns that belong to the men on the dry land. The youngest princess waited for 5 long years for her very special turn. She watched her older sisters return from the surface with many wonderful stories. They spoke of the golden sunsets and the white clouds that floated high in the air. Finally, the day arrived when the youngest princess turned 15 years of age. Her grandmother placed a wreath of white lilies upon her long golden hair. Then the little princess rose up through the water like a bubble of air toward the light. The sun had just set when she poked her head above the waves. The clouds were still tinted with pink and gold, and the evening star shone. A large ship with 3 masts lay nearby, and music floated across the quiet, dark water. The little princess swam closer to the windows of the great ship's cabin. Inside, she saw many richly dressed people celebrating a young prince's birthday. He had large, dark eyes, and was surely the most handsome man she had ever seen in her life. Suddenly, the sky turned black, and a terrible storm began to blow hard. The waves rose up like great mountains of ice against the wooden ship. The masts snapped like dry twigs, and the sea rushed into the belly of the broken vessel. The ship sank deep into the dark water, and the prince fell unconscious. The little mermaid remembered that humans cannot breathe beneath the cold, salt waves. She held his head above the water and swam through the night toward the distant shore. The sun rose over the white sand of a beautiful and quiet bay. She laid the prince on the beach and kissed his cold, pale forehead. A bell rang from a nearby building, and a group of young girls came out to the sand. The mermaid hid behind some rocks and watched as the prince woke up. He smiled at the girls, but did not know that a mermaid had saved him. She felt very sad as she dived back into the water to go home. She could not forget the prince and visited the shore many times after that. She asked her grandmother if humans could live forever if they did not drown. The old queen told her that humans have an immortal soul that lives in the stars. The little mermaid wanted a soul more than anything in the whole wide world. She decided to visit the sea witch, who lived in a scary, bubbling whirlpool. The witch agreed to give her legs in exchange for her beautiful silver voice. "Every step you take will feel like walking on sharp knives," the witch warned. "If the prince marries another, your heart will break and you will turn to foam." The mermaid agreed, and the witch cut out her tongue to pay the price. She swam to the prince's palace and drank the magic, burning potion. A sharp pain went through her body, and she fell down on the sand. When she woke up, her tail was gone and she had two beautiful white legs. The prince found her and took her into the grand castle to live. He loved her like a sister, but he did not think of marriage. He was still looking for the girl who had saved him from the dark, stormy sea. One day, the prince had to marry a princess from a neighboring land. When he saw the girl, he believed she was the one from the beach. The little mermaid's heart grew heavy with a deep and silent pain as she watched. The wedding took place on a large ship in the middle of the sea. The mermaid knew she would turn into sea foam when the sun rose up. Her sisters appeared in the waves and gave her a sharp, magic silver knife. "Kill the prince, and you will become a mermaid again," they cried out. She went into the tent, but could not hurt the man she loved. She threw the knife into the waves and leaped into the water as light arrived. She did not turn into foam, but became a daughter of the air. Because she had suffered, she was given a chance to earn a soul. She flew up into the rose-colored clouds to serve the world for many years.